Hello everybody, A for Awesome here, and I'm finally doing the thing that I said I wanted to do like a month ago. I'm finally trying out Marvel Mystic Mayhem on mobile. This is what it looks like. I'm on the first mission. I just kind of got my account set up and loaded in. But as you can see, we've got Hulk, Moon Knight, and Scarlet Witch. An interesting mashup of characters, to be certain. And they have interesting designs once we get a close-up of them. There's Nightmare, our villain here. Yeah, there's Moon Knight. Scarlet Witch and Moon Knight look pretty regular, but Hulk has a really weird design. I don't know if I'm a fan of it. Necessarily. Moon Knight looks really MCU-inspired in my opinion, so does Scarlet Witch, but the Hulk has a weird design. I think it matches the idea that this is supposed to be a bit more of a fantastical, magical kind of Marvel universe, but I don't know how much I am a fan of it. I'm also not a fan of the Marvel Rivals Hulk design, though, to be fair. I much prefer a bit more of a classic Hulk look, and so far this hasn't been something I'm a fan of, but we'll see. This is just my first time checking it out. So far it hasn't been, so far it's interesting, but we'll see kind of if I end up making a second part on this, because I really don't know if I will. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure what I'm planning to do here, but we'll see. If I end up enjoying this game a lot, or if you guys end up wanting to see more, then I'm totally down to do more. I usually do 2 parts when I'm first trying out a game. I usually try to do 2 videos of it. So that's probably what I'll do today. Just try to do a little bit longer gameplay, get further, because obviously tutorials can take up a lot of time. So, especially on mobile games, right? There's always a lot of tutorials on phone games, so I don't want to, spend the whole first video doing tutorials and then I haven't played anything but a tutorial and I don't know what the regular gameplay is like.
Nightmare's still got Moon Knight and the Scarlet Witch.
Okay, we gotta enter a team name. Let's come up with a team name, guys. You gotta come up with a new Marvel team name. Mystic Forces is not bad. I'll do that. Can't contain special characters. Punctuation spaces are consistent. Oh, down. That's dumb. Okay. Awesomeness. I don't know. Gay sex. Cool people. I'm really struggling here. Invalid name. Joe Mama.
It is inscribed in the
I was really dry for ideas there. So now my team is known as Joe Mama. Lovely, guys, lovely. Joe Mama. I think the game, okay, that was, it took a lot to load.
It is time for you to face the truth you fear, Scarlet Witch. You are but the
Okay, so who's on our team now? Because they said they had to make a second team because of Scarlet Witch and Moon Knight. Oh, there's the Daily Bugle, that's cool. I don't recognize any of these characters other than Hulk. I don't know. Okay, Misty Knight was in Defenders. I know that, the show on Netflix. I don't know who this Sleepwalker dude is. Deploy Hulk.
in position.
locked and
Who's next?
I know a lot of people are probably like, why is Hulk dealing with mystic, like, magical stuff? But there actually is a really magical side to the Hulk character and his mythos, right? Like, a lot of the of that character is based on, you know, especially if you read like Immortal Hulk. That's one of my all-time favorite Hulk stories. In fact, I wrote my own Hulk series, or Hulk, like, idea for a Hulk movie that was very much kind of based on. I have three. I wrote a Hulk trilogy of like movie ideas, basically. Like, I have my own kind of Marvel universe I've created. So far, it's got a Wolverine solo story. The next one I'm planning to do is a Deadpool solo story. There's 2 X-Men movies, essentially. Yeah, they're all technically movies. So there's Wolverine, 2 X-Men movies, an upcoming Deadpool movie, and there's a Fantastic Four movie, a Spider-Man movie, and a Hulk trilogy. There's other characters that are active in that world. Like Thor has made a cameo. Like Thor showed up at one point and Asgard was explored in one of the stories. And then like there are different. Obviously, the X-Men kind of connects to a bunch of different characters. Oh, there's a Nightcrawler solo movie. Nightcrawler from the X-Men. That's right. That's who the other one was. Forgot about that. The Fantastic Four at one point get help from Ant-Man and the Wasp. The Spider-Man one that I have is actually a TV show. And has Iron Man at one point. And Daredevil as well shows up at one point in the Spider-Man story. So it's cool, but yeah, it's the Hulk was the one that I've done. I say Spider-Man has more than anybody because he has a 5-season TV show so far in that universe, and then the Hulk has a trilogy of movies in that universe, and the first one was kind of grounded, like based off the Incredible Hulk kind of thing. So it was just kind of the Hulk's origin and Abomination, like facing the Abomination and all that. And then it also references Captain America in there, kind of confirming he exists. The second one was a bit more, not magical, but like, if I recall, the second one had the leader turning a bunch of people into Hulks, and so the Hulk battles him,
Stay alert.
I believe. And as well as battles a bunch of other Hulks, like Red Hulk, She-Hulk, Red She-Hulk, A-Bomb. Basically just establishes all those characters, and then if I recall, it was the third one that has him. It's kind of based off the 03 movie as well as based on Immortal Hulk. So basically, you know, he takes out his father, who starts off with the powers of the Absorbing Man, and then absorbs gamma radiation from the Hulk, which weakens the Hulk, and turns his father into the Devil Hulk from the comics. And then, you know, Hulk has to deal with, you know, because he's been weakened, the different alters take over. So like Grey Hulk and like, you know, a whole bunch of different things. So that's really interesting, in my opinion, to explore that character. And I've always wished the movies did a better job of that, because they really kind of sucked at it, to be honest. The Fantastic Four one I had, which has their origin, and they deal with a couple villains. They deal with Mole Man, the Impossible Man, and Doctor Doom. The X-Men, obviously, the first one they deal with is the Brotherhood of Mutants in the first story, and the second one has them dealing with Apocalypse.
Got your back out there.
Spider-Man has pretty much every single, like, dealt with a lot of his villains. If I recall, he's dealt with Hammerhead, Tombstone, Kingpin, Venom, Doc Ock, Kraven, Scorpion, Shocker, Vulture, Electro, Sandman, Mysterio, Chameleon, Spider Slayer, I know he hasn't dealt with the Green Goblin or Carnage or anything like that. I haven't done all the symbiote lore yet. It ends with the symbiote saga is the end of the so that's how I view them. Okay, is kind of how that ends so far. I haven't continued it yet. I do have my plans for the next like saga, I guess I would call it. Black Suit Saga is what I kind of called it or whatever, but or the symbiote saga, I guess, but which gets more into the symbiote lore, and as well as introduces a lot of other characters. Like I said, the Green Goblin will have his first appearance, Carnage at some point, but I'm planning to do Deadpool solo story and an Avengers story next for that, so that's kind of a long ways away. So I want to finish. I don't know when I've started it, but I haven't really sat and worked on it a whole lot. I'm not even at the halfway point of it, but my second draft of my novel that I have not come up with a title for it yet. I've got the first draft was done. I had people check it out, and they actually really liked it. But it was only like 50 pages because it was a really like short, rough kind of outline draft. So I'm working on adding more detail to it, and after that I'm planning to send it off to an editor to see, like to get it kind of properly done, try to get it to about 200 pages at minimum, because that's kind of the minimum novel length. Or the optimal novel length, I guess I should say. And then after that, the plan is, get that last draft done and then shop it around to some publishers. So that's great. But I just have not finished that second draft. But after I finish the second draft, I want to get that Deadpool that story done, and then I'm hoping to focus on my voice crack. I've got another story in my DC universe, the first one to take place after the first Justice League I wrote. Which, if you read that, it had a lot of big consequences to that story. I mean, it was still small and grounded. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like end of the world type stuff. It was just like,
This binding spell should be enough to make
rebuilding
you
efforts and such
stay
afterward,
put.
right? Because all the collateral damage is kind of like Man of Steel, right? So it's kind of a small scale story in that aspect, but it caused a lot of destruction. So there's a lot of rebuilding efforts that need to be done to get the world back to normal, and that's kind of what this next story is supposed to kind of focusing on. Is the idea of what the hell? Who are you? Is that supposed to be Doppelganger from the Spider-Man comics? That's a deep cut. I can't even lie. If that's actually supposed to be Doppelganger, that is like a really interesting character to include in a game, on a phone game of all things, because he wasn't in. I don't think he's been in any games in a long time. I think the last the last Marvel game I think Doppelganger was in was like one of the Genesis Spider-Man games or something. Pretty clearly looks like Doppelganger. Has he made like a resurgence in the comics recently? I don't know. I haven't followed mainline Spider-Man comics in a long time because they suck. To be honest, I just really hate what they've been doing ever since they introduced. Well, to be honest, everything after One More Day was kind of shit. There's like a couple stories that was good after, like Superior Spider-Man was interesting, but like other than that, there's not much I was really interested in. So I kind of really only keep up with the modern ASM stories because of posts on Twitter about how awful they are. However, not Absolute, that's the DC one. The new Ultimate Spider-Man universe is really cool. I think it is kind of slowly dragging on, though. I kind of have not necessarily lost interest, but yeah, I wouldn't say I lost interest. It's more of just I haven't been as up to date with it. More so just check it out when I hear something interesting happened. Same with I do like the new Ultimate Universe, and the absolute Batman comics that are coming out are really awesome. I've been actually keeping up with those constantly whenever a new issue comes out. Absolute Superman is pretty good too. I haven't kept up with any of the other stuff. What I've been big into with comics, is really like Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Ultimate Spider-Man, The Ultimates, and I think there was one other one. Ultimate Wolverine, I think, is the other one, but I kind of stopped caring about Ultimate Wolverine because it was just kind of meh. I really loved in the Ultimates, the new one, how Reed Richards was turned into the Doctor Doom of that universe because obviously the Maker. I really want them to put the Maker in the MCU, not like as the main Reed Richards, but like in Secret Wars or something. Like I would love for Miles Teller to come back from the really awful Fan 4-Stick movie and have him turn out to be, the Maker, and have that kind of be their canon explanation as to why that movie was so not good. Because that movie tried to do like a dark, edgy version of the Fantastic Four, and it really did not work. And I think maybe having that be the canon explanation for why it was so edgy and why there was no chemistry between the team is like, they just didn't work out. They hated each other. Have him go crazy and make that essentially the Ultimate Universe. And if they even wanted to, now that they could get Sony's permission for this, I don't know if they would, but they could literally say that universe is essentially the Ultimate Universe to the MCU being 616, and have like Andrew Spider-Man come from there, and like some of the more edgy reboot characters, like versions of them, kind of come from there. You have like Fan 4. I in my headcanon, I choose to believe that Fan 4-Stick and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans are in the same universe. Same with like in my head, even though like nowadays not so much, but back as a kid I used to believe that like Tobey and the Tobey Spider-Mans, the 2000s Fantastic Four movies, and the X-Men movies were all one universe.
I've got you.
That obviously isn't the case anymore, because they've been very and Daredevil, because they've all been kind of proven to be other universes with Deadpool and Wolverine. You could still, I feel like you could still say that the Daredevil movie universe and the Tobey universe are the same because they never interacted, but same with the Andrew and Fan 4-Stick universe, but very clearly, they're not the same as the 05 Fantastic Four or the X-Men movies, which are very clearly different universe. Okay, so our next one's there. What's this? Playing that? Cool.
The dreamscape is a delicate,
Sounds good.
dangerous.
Some cool stuff. See, I was planning to play this. Oh, Psylocke. Nice. That's a cool character. I think something that Marvel Rivals did really well is they're using a lot of characters that aren't like super well known. I mean, I still don't know who this dude in the hood is, to be honest. And I'm a big Marvel nerd, so the fact that I have no idea, it really tells you something. But my point, that's besides the point. Where do I view my characters? That's a good question. 'Cause that's not in there. Is it here in my team? Oh, I clicked on something. Yeah, Doppelganger. I didn't think they would have Doppelganger as a character in this game. That's really cool. That's really cool to have, especially because he's such an early unlock. Like, that's a very obscure character. Unless, like I said, unless he's made a comeback, but like I don't think he has. Sorry, my dad's supposed to possibly be coming over today, and I do not know what time, because he has some errands he has to do, so I've been like checking my messages to see if he's the one messaging, but he is not. Oh, and who messaged?
Enough, Mr. Negative. The power of the Darkhold is
Oh, it's Mr. Negative. See, I recognize him, even though he's got that interesting design. I wanna can't play any more heroes. I wanna put him back, and I wanna take him out, and I wanna put Misty Knight back and pull out Psylocke, because Hulk, Psylocke, and Doppelganger sounds like a way. Enemies are powerful. Level up your heroes first. Yes, please. Am I able to do that though? I guess, probably. There we go. Doppelganger's maxed out.
I'll do what I must.
Hulk is maxed out,
I'll do what I must.
and Psylocke's maxed out. So there we go. Fucking A there. Perfect.
Again.
Oh wow, we've already almost got him out. That was. These guys are not messing around. Oh, never mind. He's back up. Mr. Negative is back. I'm just kind of surprised, like I said, with they gave us Doppelganger before they gave us Spider-Man, and that's really interesting to me. I honestly feel ever since Marvel Rivals came out, it's felt like Marvel themselves have been a lot more open to the idea of not doing things that are just MCU inspired. And that makes me a lot happy, very happy, because I really miss, around the start of the MCU when there was stuff like, tie-in games and whatever for the MCU, but you still had your own, there were still things inspired by comics, there were still toys, there were still games, etc., right, like Superhero Squad, just as a random example, or Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where, there was maybe some MCU influence, but they were able to do stuff that wasn't strictly influenced by that, and I feel like we're entering a new era of that, and that's awesome, because like I said, we have Marvel Rivals, there's this game, there's Contest of Champions, although that's been out for a while, but I feel like it's kind of getting picked back up again, it's gaining more popularity now that it's on PC. Oh, there's Iron Man, and Storm. Stuff like that, or there's that new one, I think it's called Annihilation or something, the new beat 'em up that's coming out, which I totally want to get a copy of and play. Like, that looks super comic inspired. Obviously Marvel vs. Capcom, I wish they would make a new one. They don't seem like they're planning to, but they're doing that new anime inspired kind of Marvel fighting game, which looks really fun. So it just seems like we're kind of in a new era where Marvel's doing a lot more experimental stuff, and I'm really happy about that, because after Disney bought them, they really seemed afraid to embrace being, embrace their comic roots, and it's really cool to see them be a bit more welcomed into doing that. Makes me really happy, because as a kid I didn't grow up with, I did grow up with the MCU, don't get me wrong, but I didn't grow up with every show being MCU based, or every game or anything they ever did being, the movie designs and all that. Like, I grew up with a lot of, I think it was the Scott Johnson art, a lot of stuff like that, a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, as a kid I understood that there were multiple universes. Like, even at like 6 years old, I understood that the Toby movies and the Andrew movies were completely different universes. But I was also a very avid comic reader as a kid. Like, I would read any comic I could get my hands on, so I always kind of understood that concept. Same with, I always understood. And it actually kind of always irked me that the multiverse is now just becoming a cliche, and everybody's kind of saying they're bored of it now, because it's been something that's been used in comics and movies and everything for years. You know, like I was someone who like the multiverse was such a cool idea back then that it became stale now because it's been overdone. I always thought that the multiverse was better off used for like individual events compared to being like an overarching or like the fact that there's the MCU's doing a multiverse saga and like every movie involves the multiverse. Yeah, it makes sense that it would get stale. But I think if like they never explored the multiverse and only Deadpool and Wolverine did that, and then maybe only like No Way Home, you know, like if it was a rare event once in a while, I think that would be a lot better received. But I think making all of your stuff about the multiverse and doing it in a way where it makes like nothing really matter anymore because anyone who dies can just come back, like, you know, it's not the comics. The comics, you can totally do that shit because you have like 60 years of history, you have a million convoluted reasons, and like, be so for real. It happens all the time. Even the death of Superman got reversed pretty quickly. But like in movies, you have a different audience invested. You don't just have the hardcore nerds. You have people who, you know, see them see it as a linear story, not just a, you know, pick up and go kind of thing. So to bring characters back from the dead does not really work in that sense. So, and that's kind of why I'm interested in Avengers Doomsday, but at the same time, I think if they really mess it up the way that they genuinely might, like, seem like they might be about to, like, I don't have high hopes for it. I'm interested. I'm excited to see what they do. I am not particularly hopeful. Okay, so there's Echo, Moon Girl, and Devil Dinosaur, Storm. I already have Doppelganger, so like, why would I do that? Lady Bullseye, never heard of her. Moon Knight, who was already on my team, and I can complete Chapter 2 for that. Black Knight, Armor, never heard of you. Honestly, I'm good. What are these first step gifts here? I guess these are daily rewards. Well, that one just gives us Moon Girl and Devil Dino, so there's no point doing an event for that.
The dreamscape is a delicate and dangerous place.
But I'm gonna have to end it off here. I think probably. Yeah, we'll see. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.